Hello, I'm so excited to be here with you all. I'm going to take you through today how I help service-based businesses scale to 100K months and beyond, truthfully. But let's talk about 100K months for now with our people, profit, and performance framework. Let's dive straight in. So I'm so excited to share this with you today. In this training, I'm going to show you the simplest path to scaling a service-based business to consistent 100K months. And we're going to do it using a framework that actually works for women in business, my people, profit, and performance. Now, I want you to stick with me until the end because I'm not here to give you fluff or the same just work harder advice you've already heard. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps I use with my clients, women just like you who are scaling to 20, 50, even 100K months without sacrificing their families, their health, or their freedom, and actually building a life they want to live inside of. I'm going to show you real proof like Michelle, who was stuck at 80K months because every dollar depended on her billings, and now she's consistently hitting over 100K months. I'm pretty sure that number's growing. And building a team that runs the business without her, which has been her biggest achievement. So by the end of this training, you'll not only see what's been keeping you capped where you are, but also the 3 levers you need to pull to break through to 100K months and beyond. This is how you do it sustainably, profitably, and without burning yourself out. Okay, so before we dive in, what makes me credible? Here's some facts and figures, bank account statements, notice of assessments from when I was an employee. This is my first 3 months in my second $80,000 business. And you can see from starting, we started in our first month over 100K, and we were 1.2 by the end of our first 3 months in business. Here's some messages from our clients. I've passed the 10K mark, passed the 100K mark. Leslie helped me get to multi-6 figures in under 6 months. So this is some of the why you should listen. I didn't just wake up and decide to coach women on scaling. I have lived this more than once. Before I ever launched my own business, I was earning 700K a year as a recruiter, and I was placing candidates into 10,000 jobs across Australia. I had literally come from nothing and was thrown into making more money than lawyers and doctors. That alone completely shattered my beliefs around money, and it showed me money isn't scarce, it's everywhere, and the only limit is the model you're building it with. I've built 2 8-figure businesses outside of coaching. One grew to 60 million in 18 months, and another I scaled to 20 million. And that one is the one that nearly destroyed me with burnout. So I know what it is to build fast, and I know what it costs you to build the wrong way. I fought in court for a business that was stolen from me. I sold out the assets and walked away with a multi-6-figure exit, and that is what gave me the space to rebuild. Today, I run multiple 6 figures, so 7 figures in total businesses. So not just coaching, but I also own a VA and offshore staffing agency. So I know how to scale service-based businesses across different industries, not just in coaching. I have had 2 brick and mortar offices on the terrace in Perth. Most importantly, as you can see, my client results speak for themselves. So Michelle here, that was at 100K months. Nikki scaling to 20K months. She's actually pushing 30 at the moment. And Michelle booked out every month after struggling with one offer and no way to scale. We also have Deirdre, who was part-time and unsure about her work, to full-time and sold out on her first launch. Chantel pivoting and hitting consistent 10K months doing work she actually loves. I don't just talk theory, guys. I've lived the breakdowns and the rebuilds. I've built businesses that looked incredible on paper, but broke me inside. And I've built businesses today that feel as good as they look. And that is the ethos I anchor everything to, and this is how I'm going to show you how to do it for yourself. So the truth is, the reality is that less than 2% of female-owned businesses ever reach 7 figures. 2%. So 98% of women in business never make it. That number isn't just a fancy statistic on the screen. I actually think it's less than 2%. It's like 1 point something. This was my wake-up call and why I do the work that I do, and this is hopefully a wake-up call for you as well. You and I both know that women are some of the most capable, strategic, and resilient leaders on the planet. So why are 98% of us being left out of the $1 million conversation? I can tell you it's not about talent, it's not about passion, it's not about work ethic, it is about the way we've been taught to build. We have been told growth comes from hustling harder. If you want something done right, do it yourself, and that is the biggest trap. And to be successful, you have to sacrifice your health, your family, or your freedom. That's the old masculine model, and it does not work for women who want to scale. The power that I want you to take from this is the reason that most women never break through is because their businesses weren't structured to scale. You don't have profitable, scalable offers, teams that can perform without you, and the leadership tools to step fully into CEO instead of being stuck as the founder who does everything. So it's no wonder 98% get stuck. They've built businesses that collapse every time they step away, and that's what we are changing here. Because when women break through the barrier, the ripple effect is extraordinary. If you're a service-based business making 10 to 60K months, but you rely on word of mouth or referrals that dry up, so no consistent profit flow, discount or over-deliver because your offer isn't positioned to scale, spend hours chasing leads that never convert, and have revenue coming in, but expenses and effort eat most of it. If you keep running this way, 100K months will feel out of reach. But because you've hit 10 to 60K range, you've already proven you can sell something that people want. So you're not starting from zero. It probably looks a little like this though. Leads are inconsistent. 1 month your pipeline feels full. The next it's crickets. You're never sure where the next client is coming from. Sales feel heavy. You're chasing prospects, handling objections, discounting to close the deal. And the biggest is that you've got one main revenue stream and it relies heavily on you. So if you stop, the income stops. No matter how you look at it, you are the bottleneck. No matter how much revenue comes in, the business can't grow without you in every detail. And deep down, you already know if you keep building this way, 100K months will be out of reach. And it's not because you are not good enough. It's because you are building on a foundation that was never designed to scale. That's why the first pillar, profit, matters so much. Because without predictable, scalable profits, everything else is a hustle. I want you to imagine for a minute consistent 100K months without sacrificing your family, your health, or your freedom, and without working longer hours. Without being the CEO of everything, which we get so caught up in, and without burning yourself out. Now, burnout is a bit of a buzzword, but I don't know about you, but when I was scaling in the wrong way, I constantly felt exhausted. Now, I know the opposite to that is possible because I am living it. Last year alone, I traveled to 7 countries. This year, my partner and I have already traveled 3 times with our kids, whilst still being in a season of growth in business. And it's not at the expense of what matters. Our relationship is the cornerstone of our growth. We do not sacrifice our relationship for the businesses that we are building. I drop my son to school and pick him up every day. I cook dinner for my family. I'm going to say most nights, but I actually enjoy it and I make sure that I have time to commit to nurturing my family and my partner. I'm a very devotional partner and one of my top values is love. So I do not build a business at the detriment of my love anymore or my relationship with myself, my partner, or my child. Businesses were never supposed to cost you your life. It was supposed to give you more of it. And this is what is possible when you build differently. All right. So this is a bit of the backstory of the wake-up call. I want to be really honest with you here. It wasn't always like this for me. The happy, the joy, the business class flights, the trips to Mexico, Bali with my baby, Bali with my family. A few years ago, I had everything people said I should want. So I was a CEO of a big company. An 8-figure company. I was in the newspaper, on the news every week, speaking on CEO panels, To the outside world, I looked like a woman that had it all. But the truth was I had built myself a prison. I was 140 kilos. I hide it well because I'm tall, but I was 140 kilos. I was exhausted and I was in a relationship full of sacrifice. And even though my business was successful, I was miserable. I kept pushing, kept running from myself, kept chasing more, and then it all came crashing down. My business partner stole the company I built and I had to sue him. There I was, splashed across the newspapers, the powerful CEO fighting for her company, but behind closed doors, I was broken. And the real turning point came not in the boardroom, but in a woman's healing circle. I remember standing here, crying harder than I ever had in my life, finally admitting that I couldn't outrun the pain anymore and the way that I was ignoring myself. I couldn't ignore my body. I couldn't keep pretending success on paper meant success in life. I cracked and it all came crumbling down. Burnt out so bad that I had to take a year off. And not everyone has the privilege I had with a high multi-six-figure payout in the 8-figure company that she had built. You don't need to burn it all down the way I did, though. You don't need to lose your health, your joy, your marriage, or your freedom to prove a point. What you do need is to see the signs before they cost you everything, to say yes to building differently now, and to put in new foundations that aren't rooted in self-sacrifice. That is why I'm here teaching you this framework, because I don't want you to have to go through the pain I went through to see what's possible. I rebuilt differently and you can too. Success took everything from me, so I spent over $1 million on mentors, teachers, trainings to learn the way to build businesses that didn't cost me my health, my desire for love, and the joy that I had just discovered. And this is how I discovered the 3 levers to scale sustainably. I drew on my 15 years in high performance recruitment, building teams, cultures, and building other people's businesses for them along the way. And this is what I discovered. Now, I want to introduce you to some of our amazing clients that have used these levers inside of their businesses to grow. So this is Chantel. When Chantel first came to me, she had only one offer and no consistent income. She loved photography and social media, but her business wasn't giving her stability. Every month was unpredictable. Some months she had clients, other months she didn't, and she was stuck, wondering if she should just stay in her job because her business didn't feel like it could ever truly support her. Together, we restructured her offers, refined her positioning, and gave her a scalable model she could actually grow into. And the results were incredible. Chantel went from inconsistent income to consistent 10K months. She quit her job, went all in on her business, and now has stability and confidence to keep scaling. This is what happens when you fix the profit pillar. You finally build a foundation strong enough to walk away from the safety net of a job and go all in on your business with confidence. So, this is the 7-figure business foundations, and this is how you make 100K months accessible and sustainable. Let's talk about how this actually happens and how you can start to get results like Chantel. Consistent 10, 20, and 100K months don't come from working harder. They come from focusing on the right levers in your business. Burnout and hustle culture is actually built on doing too much of the wrong things. After 15 years in elite recruitment, 4 years of deep diving into sustainable business growth, and 6 years of implementing it myself inside my businesses now, I can tell you with absolute certainty there are just 3 levers that create real lasting change. Those 3 levers are your people, your profit, and your performance. It starts with people, because you cannot scale if you're still the CEO of everything. You need the right hires, the right systems, and a culture of accountability that allows businesses to run without leaning on you. Then comes profit, because without profitable, scalable offers, you keep spinning your wheels. Profit is about diversified income streams, a business model that doesn't rely on more hours, and marketing and sales systems that attract clients consistently. And finally, performance, because even with great people and strong profits, your business will only grow as far as you can lead it. Performance is about your self-leadership, your ability to make clear strategic decisions, and your shift from founder to CEO. These are the 3 pillars of my model, and when they work together, everything changes. This is how you make 100K months accessible, and this is how you make it sustainable. So it all starts with profit. Most service-based founders believe the answer to growth is more sales, but here is the problem with that. Sales without strategy doesn't always equal profit. One month you're celebrating because cash is flowing in, and the next month you're stressed, wondering if you can even cover your expenses. You're discounting to win clients, you're over-delivering just to keep them happy, you're relying on referrals that come in bursts, and then suddenly nothing. Deep down, you know it isn't sustainable because even as revenue grows, you feel more exhausted, not less. The real problem you're missing is your offers aren't positioned to scale, your pricing doesn't reflect the value you deliver, and you don't have consistent systems bringing in profitable clients every single month. Without true profit, not just revenue, your business will always feel like a roller coaster. Growth will cost you more energy, more hours, and more sacrifice. But when you fix this pillar, everything shifts. Your offers become magnetic, so clients come pre-sold and ready to buy. You create a scalable business model that grows without you working more hours. And you build diversified income streams that protect your business from the feast or famine cycle. This is how you move from chasing revenue to building predictable, sustainable, scalable profits that make 100K months not only possible, but repeatable. And that's exactly what happened for Chantel when she came to me with one offer, no consistency, and no belief that scaling was even possible. We restructured her business, and today this is why she's hitting consistent 10K months and has gone all in on her business full time. That is the power of fixing the profit pillar. So here's how we increase profits in a way that is sustainable and repeatable. There are 3 levers we focus on inside this pillar. Diversified income streams. Most service-based businesses are just one offer away from disaster. If your entire business relies on one client or one offer, you're always going to feel on edge because what happens when that dries up? That is why the first step is diversifying your income streams. And this isn't about creating 15 different things, but building complementary revenue streams that protect your cash flow. I can't tell you how many times I have found money left on the table because people don't realize they have complementary revenue streams or services they can give to their current clients to build their revenue base. So, for example, I've seen this work with recurring revenue paired with high ticket or one-to-many delivery paired with one-on-one. When you have this balance, you move out of survival and into stability. 2, scalable business model. The second lever is your business model. And what I mean by this is if your offer depends on you to deliver it, more hours from you, more action from you, you will always hit a ceiling. You cannot scale if every dollar is tied to your personal delivery, and this is where most founders get stuck. They're still charging for time or tasks instead of outcomes. We restructure your model so it can grow without you working more hours, whether that's leverage delivery, group programs, or streamlined services. The goal is always the same, more revenue without more exhaustion. And the third is magnetic marketing and sales. Finally, you need to have marketing and sales that work consistently. Right now, most businesses rely on bursts of referrals or random spikes in inquiries. One week you're flush, the next you're starting to wonder what went wrong and what you can do to fix it. Magnetic marketing fixes that. It attracts the right clients consistently and profitably, so you're never chasing. And paired with a sales process that pre-sells clients before you even speak with them, you stop discounting and start converting with ease. When you nail these 3 levers, diversified income streams, scalable business model, and magnetic marketing and sales, profit stops being a roller coaster. It becomes predictable, sustainable, and scalable. And this is when 100K months stop being something you dream about and start being something you repeat. So let's look at Nikki. Gosh, I love my clients. When Nikki first came to me, she didn't know how to scale her business. She was trapped doing everything herself. Her offers weren't structured to grow, and she honestly didn't believe consistent higher months were even possible for her. Together, we restructured her offers, refined her model, and started building her team of NDIS support workers that allowed her to free up her hours and shift from doing the work to leading the business. And the results speak for themselves. Leslie is the bomb. She helped me get to multi-six figures in under 6 months. She's now hitting consistently 20 to 30K months. She's working on her business, not in it. And for the first time, she can actually see a clear path to scale. This is what happens when you move out of founder mode into CEO. You create capacity for your business to grow beyond you. To scale the new offers, though, you need a team that performs. Your team is either your biggest accelerator or your biggest bottleneck. And for most service-based founders, it's the bottleneck. You hire people hoping it will give you more freedom, but somehow it feels like you're working harder than ever. Or you don't have a team at all and you are still stuck trying to do everything yourself. This is the biggest thing I see is I may as well do it myself because I do it better. It is such a trap. Every client issue still lands in your inbox and every admin task still needs your approval. Every single decision is either you doing it or runs through you for the final decision. One day things feel smooth, the next you're putting out fires, answering endless questions and wondering why did I even hire people if I still do it all? Or you're sitting there wondering, how do I hire the right person in a way that's not going to cost me all of my revenue? The truth is it's not that you can't hire, it's that you don't just need people, you need the right people in the right roles with the right systems. And oftentimes it's because you don't have the structure that allows your team to take ownership, deliver at a high standard, and run the business without leaning on you for every tiny thing. Without having empowered people, you'll always be the fixer of everything. And when you fix this pillar, everything changes. You step out of the weeds, your team performs without you, you hire your first team members, and you actually start to have the capacity to scale. First, it starts with the right people in the right roles. And if you don't have a team yet, the truth is you need one. You cannot scale past a certain point without support. It doesn't need to cost you thousands that you can't afford. This is exactly why I started my VA agency, to show business owners you can have high quality, affordable support that actually gives you your time back. Now, sometimes you do have people already, but here's where most founders get stuck. We are loyal to our own detriment. We keep team members who aren't really working out. We sacrifice for mediocre standards. We tolerate people who don't make our lives easier because we don't want to deal with the confrontation or the discomfort or admit to ourselves that it is our standards that have allowed this to get this bad in the first place. And sometimes that's a leadership issue, not setting clear expectations, but often it's a values alignment issue. If your people aren't aligned with your vision and values, they'll never perform the way you need them to. You hire values aligned A players in the right roles, your team finally adds capacity instead of creating more work for you. Number 2 is success systems and processes. Because even with great people, if you don't have clear systems and processes, they'll always end up coming back to you with questions. Systems create consistency. They allow your team to run the business without leaning on you for every little thing. This is where you step out of micromanaging and your team starts delivering results you can trust. The third is having a team that has exceptional performance. Not just people showing up to do tasks, but a culture of ownership, accountability, and results. This is about setting clear expectations, giving feedback, and guiding a culture where your team performs at a high standard because they are invested in the vision with you. When you get this right, the business doesn't just run without you, it grows without you. Let me introduce you to Michelle. People was one of the pillars that we changed for her that changed everything. When Michelle first came to me, she was making great money, around 80K months, but she was completely capped. Why? Because every dollar in the business depended on her billing. She was the bottleneck, she was in delivery all day, every day, and even though she had a team, she didn't have the right team or the right structure to support her growth. Together, we rebuilt her people pillar. She brought in VAs to take the admin and operations off her plate, and we mapped out her first senior hire, a lawyer who could replace her billings, so Michelle could finally step back from client work. And the result? Michelle scaled from 80K to consistent 100K months, sitting at around 120. But the biggest shift wasn't just the money, it was her role. She moved from working in the business to working on the business like a true CEO. Now she's leading growth and strategy instead of being trapped in delivery, and she has a clear path to scale even further. Once we have your people and profits sorted, even with these in place, your business will only ever grow as far as you can lead it. Most founders stay stuck because they're over-functioning. They're still acting like the founder who does everything. They're in the weeds, checking every client deliverable before it goes out. They're reacting to every fire, they're answering team questions at all hours, and they're making decisions from stress and urgency instead of clarity and vision. It's exhausting. More than that, it caps your growth. And here is the truth. To scale, you need to step into your role as true CEO. Founders do, CEOs delegate. Founders run on adrenaline, CEOs run on vision. Founders chase revenue and CEOs build scalable models. Until you make this shift, 100K months will always feel heavy, unsustainable, and out of reach. Truthfully, this is my favorite pillar because when you master this pillar, everything changes. You stop being the bottleneck, you make confident, strategic decisions, you lead yourself first, your time, your energy, your mindset, so you can lead your business to the next level as the CEO it actually needs. And this is where growth starts to feel light, and this is where you stop trading hours for money. This is where you reclaim your time, your freedom, and your joy and start to build a business that supports your life, not the other way around. So here is how we unlock performance. There are 3 levers we focus on here. Self-leadership. This is honestly where it all starts, and one that took me a minute to master. If you can't lead yourself, you can't lead your business, and that means managing your energy, your time, and your focus. It is why we need systems to support you so you can focus on what truly matters. It means learning how to set boundaries so you are not consistently pulled back into tasks that don't need you. When you strengthen self-leadership, you stop running on adrenaline and start leading with intention. Number 2 is strategic decision making. Most founders make decisions from stress or survival. They're very reactive. What's on fire today? Strategic decision making is all about shifting into clarity and vision. It's choosing what moves the business forward long term, not just what gets you through the week. When you make decisions from strategy instead of survival, the business finally starts working with you, not against you. And the final, which is one of the most crucial, is your CEO identity. As long as you see yourself as the founder who does everything, you will start acting that way. When you step fully into the CEO role, you own the fact that your job is to lead, not to do it all. You build a business that grows with you, not one that drains you. This is the shift that makes scaling sustainable. When you master these 3 levers, self-leadership, strategic decision-making, and CEO identity, you stop being the bottleneck, finally. You start to become the CEO your business actually needs, and you make confident, clear decisions. You finally get the freedom and capacity to scale to 100K months without burning out. All 3 pillars work together. You've seen how people pull you out of being the CEO of everything. With the right hires, systems, and culture, your team finally performs without you leaning on you. You've seen how profit gives you scalable offers, consistent income, and multiple streams of revenue, so you're no longer dependent on one client or one offer to keep the lights on. And you've seen how performance shifts you from founder to CEO, leading yourself first, making confident decisions, and becoming the kind of leader who can actually hold 100K months and beyond. And when these 3 work together, you don't just have more sales, you don't just have revenue that looks good on paper, you have a business that is predictable, profitable, and scalable. A business that gives you back your time, a business that gives you the freedom that you started this whole thing for in the first place. Now, knowing this framework is one thing, but actually installing it into your business, that's what changes everything. And you've got 2 choices right now. You can keep piecing it together on your own, trying to figure it out by trial and error, putting out fires, hoping the next month will be different, and maybe eventually you'll get there. Or you can let me and my team help you install all of this in the next 90 days. That's exactly what we do inside my 7-Figure Foundations, our 90-day blueprint to help more female founders get to 7 figures in their business. We take the 3 pillars, people, profit, and performance, and we implement them step by step inside of your business. So you stop being stuck in survival mode and you start building a business that actually scales. If you want this in place in the next 90 days, this is your invitation.